that's a powerful point on the sun, and her sun's not afflicted, so it's one of the first ones she's got along and got aspects on that didn't have afflictions to it. Before that, she was going through the T-square. Venus hit the moon, hit the Mercury, hit the Pluto, hit the Jupiter, got to the Uranus. It was working through this T-square. So there's a certain instability in the emotions, and what she watched during this whole time of shocks or doing the opposite or being contrary. Here, by now, 2009, she starts, I want this. And it's still 10th house, still her sense of sun being in the 10th house. I want to be paid for what I'm doing. I want to work at what I like. Her confidence, her appreciation begins to come in. It's not that she needs it, she half needs the confidence, but it's on her sun, so she's going to determine, I'm going to get what I want or what I need. That's a strong point. Then, and this is going through 11th house, somewhere along there it changes, in the 10th house, it changes into the 11th house. I didn't put the date in that, but then it moves on and it goes into Leo. Venus goes along into Leo in the 11th house, and she's wanting more and more social appreciation, the community, the group she's in, the peer pressures, the friends. So Venus comes up, and in 2029, she's not here yet. In 2029, Venus will come up, and it will square Saturn. Is it Saturn? No. Yes, it will square Saturn. So that's that's from the 8th house. So still something with the father, something with the friend. There's still values of what's enough, what's money, what's not money, what am I doing? So you can't assume it's good or bad. You can see the struggle coming in, and there's a remeasuring. Her values she's rethinking what she's doing. She got probably she's doing from her father in reaction, but there's still things to deal with. So if she comes out of an abusive situation, these are the signaling sites. If she didn't, then it's still those attitudes and the different things are percolating, building up in her emotions. So she has her Venus in Taurus. She knows what she likes, but then she's thinking about it with it going through Gemini. So more mercurial. Then it becomes more moody and more feeling, more security order. Maybe that's family, bringing up family and become tied up with that. Okay, that's the Venus, maybe. And then when it goes into Leo, so 29 degrees, so 20, that's still ahead. She's still got her Venus somewhere here in Cancer. Okay, just it's past the sun, but it's near towards the end of Cancer. It's not really making any difficult aspects. And she's studying the astrology, and it's opening up. So you're going to have that Venus over a long time evolving through friendships, through social situations. It's going to be evolving through Cancer. It's going to move into Leo in about 22. Then it's going to hit the Saturn, and that might be something with the age I am, how old I am, where am I going, what's next, what I'm doing. But because it's Venus studying Saturn, there's going to be a sense of restraint or delay or age tied up to one's values. How much time have I got left? What am I going to do? What I'm going to spend on? I don't have enough money, or I have to caution this, or I have to stuff like that. I have to downsize, or what am I going to? It's like, so that's the Venus to the Saturn. Then it's going to move along. It's not going to hit anything. It's being 11th house till the next aspect. I've just put the aspects in, and there's so much happening in a straightforward chart. It'll make many aspects. So the next aspect is going to hit two of them in 2045 and 2047. That's a ways ahead. That's when it's going to square. That's when it's going to hit Neptune, Mars, and Venus. It's going to, the 2045 and 2050, it goes through the square to Venus, Neptune, Mars. What am I doing with what I want? Where am I? And Neptune can be a sorrow at this time, but it can also be a deep spiritual detaching from worldly things, be much more emotional or mystical side of things. But it does imply how much there's kind of a worry, how am I going to take care of myself when I'm older, what I'm going to need, do I have enough money there, what's that? These things come up, and there'll be temptations as to how to use it. It's too far ahead to say exactly what it'd be. And if she lives long enough, at 2065, it goes over her ascendant. So going over her ascendant, that would go into the first house, but when it goes over the ascendant, it's also going to conjunct Pluto. Whoa, so there's challenges around resources and finances. It depends how long you live, right? If she makes it up into her 90s, this will be the challenges of who's controlling the money or what's happening. But at the same time, seeing that, would she you know, the puzzles come out, you get older, if you have kids, do you sign your rights over so they can take care of your estate or not? With hers and the potential confusions, maybe somebody could take care of things that she wouldn't want to. It really is coming out to Pluto. I think I would normally encourage her to keep control of things herself rather than let it get complicated by other people. So the solutions to the progressions, like the Venus solutions, are, you're going to see it's going to act out in the person's chart. It's going to be evolution from within the chart. So when you go back and see, well, you can justify how they react or not react by what's happening in their chart. Extend it out. And as these things are happening internally in the inner values evolving, the transits are going on. And these are going to have their subtle, not direct, it's a powerful effect, your attitude, what you want, what you like, what you don't like, but it affects a long time. And your transits are, how much you use your transits will be how much you're in life to use your transits and how much you're not. That's tied into this. Okay, I had a closer view of it. Sorry, I should have done that. But anyways, we went through it. And this is just a close-up of it. When you see a close-up, you can't see where the aspects are coming from, but you can see the numbers. Okay, just gonna watch the time here. Yeah, okay. So when we get to sample 3, here's the person. Venus goes forward, retrogrades back, goes direct, goes forward, goes back over the point, and goes on. It stays almost all in Virgo her whole life, except for a little bit in Leo. Okay, it's all up high. Venus in the 9th house again. No career, status, which traveling, philosophy, understanding, it's all up there. And her sun's in the 8th house. The moon's in the 2nd house. Leo, Aquarius, moon, Sag rising. So she's going to have a strong sense of values and what's worthwhile and what's not. That's square to Mars in the 10th. So she's going to be ready to work hard to make money happen or make things happen. She has her own strength in this. Okay, now, but that sun of shared resources, the sun in Jupiter, how to benefit, that's good for business. Like that's good for sharing or getting people involved with her, being involved with other people's money. But she's the Cancer, not the Leo. The Cancer is on the cusp of that 8th house. But it'll go through Leo the first 30 years, or the sun would. But her Venus stays in Virgo almost all her life, except for this little time when it goes back into Leo. Okay, so we're not like, there's all these other things going on. We're going to look closely at the aspect. It doesn't make any other aspects. It's just this is it. This is a person's life with their Venus. We just saw someone who went through 5 signs. Here's someone who stayed within one sign. These are hugely different progressed Venuses, but they're both in the 9th house. And so, like I said, the stories are confidential. They're not going out onto the web, but I just have the timings we can see. So her Venus it goes direct. Now she's born in, oops, I just gotta get the birth, that was 1967, okay, July 1967. So she's born in 67. Saturn went retrograde in 84, 67, 77, 84. So, okay, that's 17. But really, there's that 8 years before. So really from about 10, she started going into this. So as puberty, as she was growing up, Venus was going retrograde. So like it was stationary and starting to go retrograde. So this implies a very intense time period. It's not just 84, it's the 7, 8 years before and 7, 8 years after, 7, 8 years after. So this is from what's expected of her, how she's building up, what she thought she was, and her life turned around during her teenage years. And those are, for a woman, those are very big, dynamically changing years and so much happening anyways. But then as we came out of it, it's just as that intensity came in, it went to a certain extent and started backing up. It's backing up, it's not going forward. Or what I'm wanting is to go forward, it's having to go back over where I came from, what happened, what I'm doing, where I'm doing, what's happening. So went retrograde in 84, started backing up. So this degree, degree, which is probably 9, 10, 11, probably goes up to 9, 10, 11, probably up to 13 or 14 degrees when we're retrograde. That degree that it's in, you'd want to know the hexagrams and the meanings in that degree. We don't have the time to do it now because I'm going to, but here's an intense time period. Then it backs up and it comes back. In 1999, January, it came back to its own place. So it went forward, then it backed up. So our emotions dwell forward, and then suddenly it's reflecting, backing up, backing up. It's not like a back and just going over things to reflect. It's not projecting, just leading one thing forward. It's you're reassessing what happened before you go back to the same degrees. Then it got back to its own Venus in January 99, where it's back home territory. Now, sorry, I just want to come back up here. Her Venus is not afflicted at all. Her Venus has no bad aspects to it. It's sextiles. It's too far away from the conjunction to Pluto. It's not got any bad aspects to it. It's just trine in Virgo. Okay, so you can't anticipate it's just going for it and there's something backing up, changing something. So this is the teenage years of who you meet, finishing school, whatever. It's in Virgo, so probably finished the school. And then it started backing up after what was the school for, what was I doing, where I'm going, maybe studied more, but it got back to its own place by 99. And by this time, she has a strong sense of values of what she values, what's right and what's wrong in her values. Venus is back, but then it goes back. There was something before this lifetime. She had to go back and get something. She had to figure out. Someday she went forward her emotions into this world, and something was missing. She had to go back. And you can't say I'm going back. I'm doing it. It's just the emotions. When we're trying to evaluate it from here, saying how come you're not here, pulling away from here? Something's missing and something's not being figured out here. It's moving back. Okay, so it moves back a long time. It's not till 2027 that it goes direct. So she's still in this retrograde phase now. Okay, so 8 years away from her. So she's down at the last stages of this slowing down and turning around. And this may, so with this chart, it's quite a unique thing. I should have marked it in. I didn't put the dates in here. I did. Oh, I know. I have it here. I know I wasn't. I knew I was missing something here. Sorry. I'll see how big I can make this so we can see it. Make it as big as we can. We'll be able to see the degrees. Okay, so this is the degree point where we're seeing there's July 84 where it went retrograde at 13 degrees 54 of Virgo. Okay, so I have the retrograde marked in here. All the different aspects that are minor aspects. It comes back and conjuncts the Venus at 9/26 of Virgo. Yeah, so that was in that's January of 2029. So it doesn't. No, something's wrong here. Oh no, 2029. Okay, yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, 2029. So here we go. It's just it's passed out of the close retrograde to its retrograde. Passed back to the Venus. Okay. Okay, so 67. It goes retrograde at 84. There's something wrong in that. No, that's right. 90. Oh no, it's not 29. It's 99. That's the date, the exact date of the aspect. It's in 98, 99. That's what I think is the timing was out. So 99 January. That's it hits the Venus again. Then it backs up. So I have this point, but I'm really working with the charts where I have access to the pentans, Virgo, Scorpio, Pisces. I have access to the hexagrams, and I can see if the aspects, I have the exact dates going on here. With this program, exact dates, the way it's calculated, they could be the timing to the hour. You'll see that when you're looking at the times of things, it never says the minutes because it's not that accurate. You're getting down to too accurate, dealing with times that would require seconds of it, portions of a minute of accuracy for the time you're born. So like that's getting down to seconds of minutes of the time you're born, and we don't know our time that well. So this can be, there's a fuzz element here.